What is up, y'all, and welcome back to part, I believe, 6, but don't quote me on that. I'll put the actual number right here, of the Jeep Liberty Overland build. Today, I have it pulled up. We're going to be installing a winch on the front and doing a custom winch plate and possibly front bumper. I haven't quite decided. We got to do some measuring to see what we're going to wind up doing with that. It is a Polaris Heavy Duty Series 2,500 pound winch, which I know is not as much as you need to move a vehicle out of the ditch. It's more for moving trees and obstructions and trails, stuff like that, moving stuff around the yard. So let's get started on that. First thing we're going to do, we're going to remove the front bumper and the license plate, and try to kind of figure out what we can weld to and bolt to with a winch plate that I still have to build. So this is going to be a complete DIY. Before we get into this build, make sure you guys if you guys have any questions in this video, make sure you comment and make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for more builds, and go ahead and hit that notification bell as well. It really helps us out. So anyway, let's get started. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the Amazon special lights plate, which now has expired registration, and the rest of the front bumper. One of these blinkers doesn't work. I think it's that one. So we also got to kind of look into that and figure out how we can make it so we can have a blinker. I haven't quite decided how we're going to do that yet. So, but for the time being, just start removing the bumper. We're going to go from there. All right, so got the bumper removed, taking an 1/8 inch angle to kind of build the plate. And then I'm going to plate over the top of it. And then we're going to make it work where we can put this broken piece of crap over the top. And that will mount right there. So we're going to bolt it all together, and it's all modular, so it'll be able to come in and out. I'm going to try to do this without welding. Just going to bolt everything together, and we'll go from there. All right, y'all. So it's, I'm not wearing a watch, like 2 a.m. or something, and I'm out here working with Bailey. Bailey's around here somewhere. So got the bar put on. That's going to hold most of the weight. Again, this thing's not going to be used to be pulling out the Jeep. It's just literally gonna be used for like moving trees and stuff around the yard and stuff like that. So I stood on this earlier and jumped on this. It's connected right through. There's a frame rail that runs there, and I don't want to be buying a bunch of steel to build a aftermarket one, because one, it's expensive, and two, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. So we're gonna cut out the plastic so that sits flat, and then we're going to run some more metal back and weld that right to that little tin piece up there, and then bolt it straight down into there, as well as the Polaris winch has these stock mounting bolts here, so we're going to put a piece of angle iron up as well, and then I'll add some welds to help strengthen everything. So yeah, I'm going to keep going on this. I'm not going to film a whole lot because it's getting dark outside, but figured I'd give you guys an update. And then those lights are going to go around it as well. So yeah, I'm going to keep working on this. Again, it's like 2 a.m. so I'm going to make sure I piss off all my neighbors, and I'll update you once I get it mounted. All right, so I have the initial bar on. Still need to actually put the actual winch plate in here and connect it with this super thin metal, but I just want to show you guys how strong these actually are. I am about 170 pounds and I'm jumping on this thing, and it is more than strong enough. So, and the whole suspension's going down in the Jeep, so that will work. All right, y'all, so haven't welded it, haven't put all the hardware in yet. This is gonna be pretty close to what it's gonna look like until I actually put like a bull bar or something on it. I haven't really decided if I want to try to do some tube work to see if I can do that, but we'll get to that. But for the time being, I think it looks pretty nice. Put down in the comments what you guys think. Obviously, I still need to figure out the wiring and all that stuff, and then I also need to put the side lights on and a couple other things. But for the most part, I mean, that's pretty sweet. The metal's left over from the old trailer ramp and everything. Like, I literally just did this out of like just some scrap pieces. So yeah, I'm gonna put the lights on. We'll probably call that good for the night until I have some better daylight. But for 2 a.m., I didn't think that was too bad. that's a good day one. We have the winch kind of hooked up on there. Definitely have to add some more sturdiness as well. And then I'm sure you guys all noticed this is not installed correctly at all. Some of you guys are gonna ask why I cut holes in the factory bumper. That's why. There's already a giant hole, so I figured, what the heck, let's try this, see how this is. I don't hate the look. I'm not in love with it either, but for a quick day job where we'll have a working winch, can't really complain too much. Still have to get some fitment stuff up here with the inner fender wells and whatever else, and trying to figure out if I want to do a lift on this thing or not. I haven't really decided yet. That's how far the winch sticks out forward, so really not a whole lot of difference. It's not a huge winch, you know, it's definitely not one that's strong enough to pull the Jeep out. Maybe give it a little bit of a boost, it could, but it's, again, for stuff around the yard and, you know, on trails, moving trees, stuff like that. Probably gonna wind up switching it out to a synthetic winch line, just because it's Minnesota, we have salt. And then I think I might do some sort of protection bar over the top. I also have not decided. The lights are not wired up. Again, I pulled all that wiring when I took the bumper off, and I didn't really like how I had them wired up before anyway. So I'm gonna wire that up. We're gonna wire the winch up. Gonna fix all the fitment in here as well. Other than that, I am going to hit the hay for the night, and we will hit it again probably tomorrow, depending on if it storms or not. All right, y'all. Bailey and I are back for day 2 on this interesting stormy day. Goal for the day, get the Jeep movable again and try to get it welded. I was talking to a coworker last night who thought that it would look good if we did some sort of tube bar kind of over the top. I don't have any metal right now, and I'm not going to Bemidji to get it, and I'm not paying the prices in the small town to get the metal. So for now, we're just going to make this thing usable. We're going to kind of go from there. So that being said, today we're going to be doing some welding, a little bit more bolting stuff together, weather permitting, and then we got to wire everything in as well. I do still have to get the remote from Polaris for that winch, so we're probably not going to test it out today, but it'll be there ready to go once I do order the winch, and it's pretty much plug and play. And then we'll probably just run it into the Jeep, or I'll just put like a Harbor Freight box under the hood, and we'll just leave the remote in there, because there's a good chance that, you know, when we use this thing, it's going to be easier for me to be outside the car, because again, this is only a 2,500 pound winch. It's not built and being put on here to pull the Jeep out. It's being put on here to move trees, and then I'll probably wind up building some sort of snowplow for this thing this winter as well, because we do have a fairly big yard, and use it for that as well. I'm just probably going to do some homemade brackets on that. That'll be a whole different build. That's not part of the Overland thing, so it'll be used to lift and lower the snowplow as well. So with that being said, we're going to get started and see what we can get into. So I'm going to lay a weld right in here. It's a pretty big gap, but let's see. Yeah, we can try those settings. And it's raining. Wonder if this makes me a
underwater diver or underwater welder diver in there.
Well, I just looked at the forecast. I don't think it's going to stop raining anytime soon. So this thing is too high to fit in the garage because for whatever reason, apparently the person who built the garage must have owned like a smart car or something. It's really, really short, even though it's actually kind of tall. But we're just going to make our own garage. What else do you need a nice castle for? I mean, gotta make your own garage. Perfect. Stay nice and dry, and I believe, nope, not that one. There we go. And we got work lights. So this seems pretty ideal. We're gonna do this. So I'm letting those cool down. I am by no means consider myself a welder. I had money and bought one from Harbor Freight. So they're not the prettiest of welds, but the welder that I ain't, the grinder will make look good. So I have this weld, this weld, this weld. I'm gonna let them cool down a little bit, and then I'll probably try to get the inside. That side looks better than this side. It's also scrap metal I had laying around, like it's not actually nice metal. I also realized the blinker's out on this side, so I'm just getting a new bulb, but for the time being, I'm gonna use the, I don't know if they're Fallout Factory self-tappers or someone else put them in there before I bought it, to put this back, that debacle back together. I also realized that when I took all this apart, this thing took a front end hit. Like, that wasn't that, because I know where that one came from. That was a deer from my coworker that I bought it from. But up in here was all kinds of pushed up, all kinds of messed up. So this thing has seen some things for only 103,000 miles or whatever it's got on it. But hopefully this will kind of help protect the front a little bit more if we do smack a deer. Eventually it'll get a full bumper on it, but obviously I want to do lift and tires and do a few other things first and get this thing a little bit more reliable. I mean, it's never really broken down on us, but there's certain things I want to get fixed because literally every engine light on this thing is on, which is kind of entertaining. But I'm not going to fix everything on it, but obviously fix some things, being that this is an off-road rig, but it's also our camping rig, and being that we take a 2-year-old out, I want to make sure it's reliable. So these tires look good. This will be the next thing I'm going to be doing. So put down in the comments what you guys think I should run for tires. Keep in mind, budget. I have many other vehicles that need to be maintained. I mean, I don't pay for that, but we're not trying to spend a whole lot of money on this thing. These tires look good. They have a good amount of tread on them, but if you look close, the weather checking is starting on these because I'm pretty sure this thing sit for a while. Thinking probably 2-inch spacer lift, but you guys put down in the comments right now what you guys think would look good on this thing. I'm okay deleting the front bumper because it's actually going to help our approach angle, but for the time being I'm going to leave that there just so I can do blinkers and whatever else. So put down in the comments what you guys think. And as much as it's hated, I'm probably going to do a spacer lift on this thing because it is a lot more financially feasible to just put a spacer lift. It's like $60 for the 3-inch spacers in the rear and pretty cheap for the front ones because I'll probably just wind up putting KK struts in here and then I'll get the lift right off of that. But yeah, put down in the comments what you guys think, what you guys have ran. I'm gonna keep going on this. My phone's at like 10% and the GoPro's charging in my truck currently. So I'm gonna keep working on this and I'll bring you guys back once I have battery in my devices here. All right, y'all, this is where I'm at now. Bumper is back on and sturdy with the good old zip ties and self-tappers. It's fine. It's $250 Jeep Liberty. Anywho, this is all welded up. Gotta paint this. It's all graded hardware. I don't think I actually explained to you guys how I mounted the metal into the actual frame. Dang, that's some good thunder. So there's some frame rails that come up right up underneath the radiator. If you watch other Jeep Liberty builds, I'm assuming people probably use the same way to do that. And then, so the frame rail comes up, and then there's the like super thin, cheap bumper over the top of it. What I wound up doing is I wound up cutting away some of that cheap bumper to get some access into the actual frame. And I drilled 2 holes on each side through the frame, and then I stuck the metal through, drilled the holes through the metal, and then using, I think I have an extra one over here, this graded hardware like this, put it in there. Because this is a unibody, if this thing does hit something, I want it to be able to flex a little bit, because once a frame's tweaked on these things, there's not a whole lot you can do to get them back. So it's not the straw, you know, a lot of people are gonna be like, why didn't you use 1/4 inch? Why didn't you use tube and all this stuff? Again, 2,500 pound winch, okay? This is more than strong enough for a 2,500 pound winch. And if it's not, oops, we'll use bigger metal next time. But this is what I had sitting around. This is what we're gonna try. It is bolted with all grade 8 hardware, and then welded here. 2 bolts into the winch for now, and then I still need to run a piece of metal up in here and take advantage of these mounts, because it does still move a little bit. That's just the flex of the 1/8 inch angle. I need to get a little bit more thicker gauge wire to get that up to the battery, and then obviously I need to go pick up a remote from Polaris and make that work with this. Right now I'm going to wire up my bumper lights here. I'm not going to put a top thing on it for now, just because I don't have any metal left that I would want to use for that. We're going to go around, cut all the zip ties, you know, get fancy with it. A few other things, and then we'll probably wrap this video up. But for the time being, I'm going to wire those up. I know you guys have seen how I wire. If you guys have watched the videos with wiring up that one or these or the ones over there, it's just pretty simple plug and play. I'm just gonna use the same harness I was using before. So I'm gonna throw you over in a time lapse. I think my GoPro is probably charged enough in the pickup, and we will get rolling on that. All right, so supposedly they're wired up. This is a heck of a storm. Bailey's hiding out in the ice castle, smart girl. So, supposedly they're wired up. I'm gonna go test them quick and make sure. We gotta re-aim them a little bit, but I'm getting wet. Well, looks promising. Perfect. All right, I'm hooking up the wiring. That will probably be it for today's video, but I'll be back with you guys when I'm done. I would try to do an outro right now, but I have a feeling y'all can't hear me. But if you can, winch, new wiring harness for the lights. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out Off-Trail Destinations on Instagram to keep up with this thing. Trails are gonna be muddy, so we're probably gonna go mob this thing later. Other than that, thanks for watching, y'all. We'll catch you next time.
Wow.
The things I do for a thumbnail. It's raining. So I got the umbrella out. I'm gonna take a picture for the thumbnail.